Back in February 2018, an ATV rider named Greg Harris set out on a trail ride with his GoPro capturing every moment. At first, the footage is exactly what you'd expect, just another off-road adventure. But in an instant, something horrifying brings Greg's ride to a screeching halt. If you missed it, rewind and look again. Someone had strung a nearly invisible metal wire between two trees, stretching right across the trail. It wasn't just an obstacle, it was a deadly trap. The wire struck Greg's helmet, stopping him in his tracks. Had it been positioned just a little lower, this ride could have ended in tragedy. Thankfully, Greg's speed, combined with the wire hitting his helmet rather than his neck, caused it to snap on impact. He walked away with minimal injuries, but the reality of what could have happened is chilling. Disturbingly, this isn't an isolated incident. In the ATV and dirt bike community, stories of hidden wires and booby traps pop up far too often. Some are set up by landowners trying to keep riders off their property. Others are placed by people irritated by the noise. And then there are those traps left behind by individuals with no other motive than pure malice. Who set up this particular wire? That remains a mystery. But Greg's close call serves as a serious warning. When riding through wooded trails, always stay alert. A single, nearly invisible wire could mean the difference between a thrilling ride and a deadly accident. In January 2015, a group of film students from New Zealand were outside their school near Auckland's Parnell railway station, capturing footage for a project. Among them was a student named Chris Meir, who had no idea his camera would soon record something truly unsettling. At first, the group was simply goofing around, filming without a care. But then, they noticed something, or rather, someone lurking in the tall grass near the station. Two figures, wearing eerie white masks, stood silently, watching them. At first, Chris and his friends assumed it was just a prank, maybe some classmates trying to scare them. That's why you can hear them laughing throughout the footage. But later, they admitted it wasn't laughter from amusement, it was nervous laughter. Because the more they looked, the more disturbing the scene became. In some of the footage, one of the masked figures appears to be holding a gun.
Where's the other one? Where's the other one? I don't see him.
That's when fear overtook curiosity. As the figures started moving closer, the students bolted toward the main road. Shortly after, they noticed a police helicopter circling the area. It's unclear who reported the incident, but based on what I found, this wasn't the first time the masked duo had been spotted. Just days earlier, they had reportedly harassed a woman at Auckland's Domain Park before vanishing before police could arrive. When officers reached the train station, Chris and his friends described what they had seen. Not long after, the Auckland Police Department issued a Facebook post urging the suspects to come forward while warning the public to keep their distance if they encountered them. Authorities also emphasized a crucial point: if someone appears to be carrying a weapon, there's no way to know if it's real or fake, so law enforcement has to assume the worst. Soon after the warning was posted, the masked individuals reportedly came forward to speak with the police. However, beyond that, not much information was ever released about who they were or what their motives had been. While some online skeptics speculated that the entire thing was staged as a publicity stunt, a spokesperson from the student school confirmed they had no connection to the masked figures. According to a Vice article, a police spokesperson later claimed the weapons were fake, but I couldn't find any official confirmation of that. Even now, the true identity and intentions of the masked duo remain a mystery. But one thing is certain: Chris and his friends were lucky to get away before things escalated into something far worse. At the base of Japan's Mount Fuji lies a dense, quiet forest known as the Sea of Trees. What makes this forest unique is its origins. It sprouted from a 30 square kilometer bed of hardened lava left behind by the last major eruption of Mount Fuji. But beyond its natural beauty, the Sea of Trees is infamous for something far more unsettling. For years, this forest has gained a reputation as a place where people go to end their own lives. Those who venture deep enough have often stumbled upon tragic evidence of those who never made it out. Near the entrance, a sign in Japanese offers a somber plea. Think carefully about your parents, siblings, and children. Please don't suffer alone, reach out for help. In July 2017, urban explorer and YouTuber Burbeck set out to document his journey into the sea of trees, not knowing what he might find. At first, his exploration seemed uneventful. But then, just minutes into his trek, he spotted something that sent a chill down his spine: an abandoned bicycle, left to decay among the trees.
I'm only a few meters away from the road right now, but I've already found an abandoned bike. It's actually a pretty nice bike. Let's take a look at it. I don't think it's been here a long time. What do we got in here? And there's a packet for a knife. I think I've just found some kind of note in a bag. It says 1211. I can't quite make out. I think this is somebody's name just here, and I'm not sure what this means.
On top of the bike lay an empty package that once held a kitchen knife. Moments later, he discovered a plastic bag with a handwritten message. When translated, it read, 1211 verified, Fuji Yosha police station verified. This likely meant that the belongings had been examined and confirmed by the local police, possibly as evidence from a case of someone who had entered the forest and never returned. It's deeply unsettling to think about how many have lost their lives in this place, and even more chilling to realize that any passerby could come across the remains of a lost soul. In an effort to curb the tragedy, Japanese authorities have installed security cameras at the entrance and trained volunteers to approach visitors who seem to be in distress. But despite these efforts, the forest's dark reputation persists. Media coverage and online fascination have only amplified its eerie allure, making it a place of both sorrow and mystery, one where every abandoned object tells a heartbreaking story. In early 2023, a man named David Meredith was out for his usual evening stroll through his neighborhood in Red Deer, Canada, when something caught his eye: a massive bull moose grazing near a tree. Wanting a closer look, he quietly hid behind the tree to observe. But then, the moose turned toward him and charged. To put this into perspective, a fully grown bull moose can sprint at over 35 miles per hour, nearly twice the speed of an average human. While moose aren't typically aggressive, they can become extremely dangerous if they feel threatened. And in that moment, David was in serious danger. With no time to think, he instinctively grabbed onto the nearest tree and climbed for his life, narrowly escaping the moose's deadly antlers.
He just ran me up a tree.
From his perch, David pulled out his phone and started recording. Below, the moose stood motionless, staring up at him. In the footage, you can hear David's shaky breathing as he waited, unsure of what would happen next. Then, suddenly, the moose began charging back and forth, lowering its head, a clear sign of agitation. If David slipped or tried to come down too soon, there was no doubt the moose would attack. According to an interview he gave later, David remained trapped in the tree for over 10 minutes, watching the moose pace aggressively beneath him. Perhaps the most terrifying part? The only thing keeping him off the ground was a flimsy-looking branch he had used to hoist himself up. If it had snapped under his weight, he could have been seriously injured, or worse. Luckily, after realizing David wasn't coming down, the moose eventually lost interest and trotted away. Even then, David waited an extra 30 minutes before cautiously climbing down and making his way home. Had he hesitated for even a second when the moose first charged, this story could have ended very differently. If you like this video, click on the video to watch more disturbing things caught on dashcam. If you love real horror stories and the unexplained, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Don't miss an episode of Screaming Diaries, where every scream tells a story.